Hey guys, I'm Glitter Valkyrie, and today we're going to pull in the Winds Offered banner. As soon as I saw the silhouette, I knew that my orbs were as good as gone, and I could not be any happier with this Claude alt. And so I'm hoping that we can get at least a couple of copies today, but we will just see how it goes. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I want to start out by saying that if you hear a little bit of background noise in my audio today, I actually have a very special guest with me. I have my brand new puppy who is here with me, and he has insisted on being a part of this experience. And so if you hear anything in the background, that is just him saying hi. And I feel like he's going to bring us some good luck and some Claudes because he is wonderful. And in terms of our plan for pulling today, I think that we're just going to try and pull as many greens as we possibly can. I think that this form of Claude is so perfect for this banner. I think he fits the theme so well. I love his art, and he is incredibly strong. And so we are definitely going to use our spark on him, and I would love to get him to +10, but I really don't think that's going to be today. And what I'm actually hoping is that he shows up on a good double special hero banner, like maybe with Summer Ivy. That would be so amazing. And then maybe I could get the +10 at that time. But for today, we're just going to try to stick to greens as best we can. And if we don't have greens, I feel like red is probably the next best choice. I personally love Dagger as a character. I think she's super fun, and I think this form is incredibly strong, but at the end of the day, I don't necessarily need her, and I want to really focus on Claude as best I can, so I think that that's what we should do. And if we don't have either of those colors, then we should probably go for the duo just because they are the duo. I'm very, very conflicted about that because I love Orochi as a character, but she is the backpack, and Kagero I have like no attachment to whatsoever, so there really isn't a ton of incentive for me to pull the duo. And lastly on the banner, we have Katria, and while her art is adorable, I don't necessarily need her, so we probably won't pull too many blues. And so overall, I think that there were some great choices for the banner and some kind of weird ones. And I also just feel really, really bad for all the fans of Hayato because I feel like this was his time to shine. Like if he was going to be on a banner, this is it. And he is not here. And although I am not a fan of his, I know so many people are. So I am so sorry that he was passed up. And even like aside from him, I feel like there were some other characters that could have fit better, like Lewin or Sed or even Merrick. And I don't even like Merrick, but I feel like he would have fit. But yeah, I feel like there were some great choices, some weird ones, but at the end of the day, Claude is here, so I am happy. And so with all that said, I think that we can go ahead and answer our viewer questions. And as always, if I don't get to yours, I am really sorry, and I'll try to do it in a future one. And if you think of a question you want to ask me, you can just put it in the comments with #question, and I'll put your question on my list. And so the first question that we have today comes from Jake Crissell, and they ask, who do you want to get the first Vanaheimar themed Resplendent? So even though I have a lot of thoughts about this most recent book, I will say that the art is amazing and I love the aesthetic and all of the designs. And so it's actually something that I'm really hoping to see with our Resplendents. And so if I have to pick somebody to get it first, I feel like Camilla would be an excellent choice. I think that the colors would look so pretty with her hair. I feel like the whole aesthetic would fit her super well. And she's also a very well-liked character, and so I would personally love to see it. And then after her, I'd love to see Olivia because I feel like she just, oh my goodness, wow. Oh my gosh, that is Owain. You know what? I love him as a character, so that's great. Okay, let's check IVs. And he is +speed. That is really, really good. You know, I've had like a bunch of copies of him that I've just like kept because I was thinking I would give Blue Flame to somebody, and now I feel like it's not even good. So I think this is the sign to merge him up. But getting back to this very lucky question from Jake, I was saying that I want to see Camilla first, and then I feel like Olivia would be another great choice. But thank you again for that very lucky question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one, and this comes from Ginny Sung. And they ask, in Engage, who were your favorite ring pairs for your characters? So there are definitely a few that I relied on, and for Diamond, I think that the main one that I used was Ike, but I also really liked Hector on him. And then for Ivy, I feel like I used Lynn on her for the most part, and Lynn makes anybody good, but I feel like it worked really well on her. And then when I didn't have Lynn on her, I also really liked Byleth. And then as for Alear, there were two that I really liked. I used Corin on her a ton, and I also used Tiki as well. I feel like Tiki was really, really good. And then as for a couple of other ones, for Zelkov, I loved him with Lucina. And for Rosado, I really liked him with Erica. And then I don't know if this counts, but for Citrine, I loved the Olwen ring on her. I know it's like not truly an emblem, but it was so, so good on her. And so those were the ones that I used the most. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Prophecy 2. And they ask, rank the 3 Genshin summer events. And so for memory's sake, that's 2 years of Golden Apple Archipelago and this year's Valyrian Mirage. Oh my goodness, that is Snaki. I really like Snaki, so this is great. Okay, let's check IVs. And she is plus res, that is going to be a merge, so I'm happy with that. And so let's back out and we will just keep going with this very lucky question talking about the Genshin summer events. And so if I have to pick one as my favorite, I would say that probably the first one was my favorite. And I think that part of it is because we were at a point in the game where we hadn't had a ton of new maps and areas to explore. And the Golden Apple Archipelago was just so different from anything we had had before. And so for me, it was a ton of fun to explore. I spent so many hours in it, and it was just a really great experience. And then if I have to rank like my second favorite, probably it's going to be year 2, just because I really enjoyed the different themed islands. And I love that they teased Nahida just because she is my favorite Archon. And so that was really neat. And then of course, lastly, we have this year, and it was definitely my least favorite. I just feel like the circus motif was not my favorite. It wasn't that like interesting to explore, and I just didn't really enjoy it. So yes, that one is definitely the least favorite. But thank you for that very lucky question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Winter Symphony. And they ask, what are your... Oh my goodness, we got him. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry if that was loud, but I am just so excited. Okay, let's check IVs. And he is plus HP minus defense. I am so beyond happy with that. I'm just thankful that he's come home. And so, of course, we're still going to pull every single green that we see. And getting back to this very lucky question from Winter Symphony, they ask, oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Amir's a great pull, so I'm really happy with this. Okay, let's check IVs. And she is plus attack. That is so, so good. So let's back out and we will just keep going with this lucky question. Winter Symphony asked what my hopes are for this year's Halloween banner. So Halloween is my favorite holiday, so every year it's a very highly anticipated banner for me. And so for this year, what I am hoping for is to kind of move away from having all dragons, because I feel like the year that we had La Rochelle and Dozla and Hector and Ileana, that was my favorite, probably just for bias reasons, but I feel like it was nice to have a varied type of unit, and it was just so much fun. And we've had a lot of great dragons, but I kind of want to get away from that. So that's what I'm hoping for this year. And as for some characters that I want to see, I think my number one wish is to see Sarah, because she's one of my all-time favorites, and paired with my favorite holiday, that would just be so great. And as for some other characters that I want to see, I'd love to see Oswin. Even if it like sticks him in seasonal hell, I would just want to see him, so so that would be great too. And then I would love to see Xander. I don't think that'll happen, but I would love to. And then I'd love to see Alm and Celica too. But thank you for that very, very lucky question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one, and this comes from Randalicious. And they ask, are you a free-to-play gamer, pay player, or a mix of both? Okay, so it kind of depends upon the game, but generally I would say that I'm like a baby whale. Like not full whale, but I would say baby whale. And so I try to like stay spending within my means, but I do spend a little bit. And I think that if you're being careful and having fun, while it's probably not the best idea, it's probably okay. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer another one. And this comes from Matthew Warrera, and I'm sorry if I said that wrong. And they ask, what do you like doing in this game? So there are actually a lot of different things that I enjoy in Fae, and I have to say that my favorite events right now are probably Hall of Forms and Otherworldly Bonds. And part of it is probably the RNG factor, but also at the end of the day, you can get something out of it with a unit. And for me, there's so much value in that, and it's just so much fun. And it's always something that I look forward to. And aside from those modes, I also really enjoy resonant battles. I feel like nobody ever talks about them, but I find them super fun. Like, it's not a chore for me to do it every week. Oh my goodness, who is that? I don't know who that is. Oh, it's Kyria! Oh my gosh, that is absolutely amazing. I wish we would have another TMS banner. But let's check IVs. And she is plus speed. Okay. But you know what? We will just keep going with this very lucky question from Matthew. And I was saying that I really enjoy resonant battles. It never feels like a chore for me to do it. And then one other mode that I really enjoy is actually the limited hero battles that we get every month. I just really love theme teams and having that restriction and a little bit of challenge and figuring it out with the characters that I love. So for me, it's always a lot of fun. But thank you again for that very lucky question. Okay, let's see if this is Dagger. Okay, Smoke. It's Hana. Okay, so let's go ahead and back out and we can answer another question. And this comes from Chaos. And they ask, given that you play Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, are you looking to try out Zenless Zone Zero when it drops? So I have looked into Zenless Zone Zero, and I have to say I don't think it's going to be the game for me. Mostly because I've seen the characters and their designs, and I don't really like them very much, and that's a huge part of enjoying a game for me. So while I will try it out because it is MiHoYo and I play a lot of their games, I can't see it being like a Genshin or a Star Rail for me. But thank you for that great question. Okay, let's see if this is a duo. Who knows? Okay, Smoke. And we get Clarine. Okay, so let's go ahead and back out and we can answer another question. And this comes from an Ordinary Cheese Wizard. And they ask, who do you want to see on the next Engage banner? And what do you think of this book's Fae OCs so far? Okay, so as for your first question about Engage, I would love to see a banner with Ivy on it, like the regular Ivy. And so I feel like it would be perfect if her retainers came with her. So Zelkov and Kagetsu. They are some of my favorites from the game, so I would really, really love to see them too. And then to fill up like the fourth character on the banner, I just want to see Rosado. It may not make sense, but I love Rosado. And so I feel like he would be another fantastic choice for the banner. And then as for like the GHB that we would have with it, I would love to see Mavier with a really, really good PRF. That would be so, so great. And then as for your second question about the Fae OCs for this book, I feel like this book has kind of been a mess, but their designs are great. And if I had to pick a favorite, I would say that Haether is definitely my favorite. But thank you for that great question. Okay, so we hit our 40, but we have to pull this green. It could be a clutch Claude. Okay, Smoke. And we end with an Arthur. Okay, so now we can back out and we can go ahead and do our Spark. And of course, we're going to take a merge for our Claude. It's like the easiest choice ever. Oh my gosh, look at him. I absolutely adore this art. And we get the thing. All right, so I think that it's probably best to end things here for now, but I got my +1 Claude, so I think that is a really good start for a project. And if you guys are pulling on this banner, I hope that you got everything that you were looking for. I also want to say big thank you to the people that took the time to submit questions. I cannot make these videos without you, so thank you so much for taking the time to do that. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.